Hi, Brandon Hardison, President of Champion Strategies, with our ongoing series of public speaking. Once again, we do know that we have some first time teachers in front of our children. Big responsibility. And I feel for you. Was something I used to do 10 years at high school level. So, congratulations. Remember, you are what they need for you to get their future together. So, public speaking in front of them on a daily basis or every other day basis, if you do have some type of elective. Maybe you're doing it virtually, still the same. They need to understand that you're in charge of the room and what comes out of your mouth as far as following, directing, leading them towards that content is very important. Maybe you're a new manager, a supervisor. Congratulations. You'll be meeting with your team members. And once again, always think of this. If you want your success, if you want that next chair that's in that eyesight for you, make sure that they achieve their goals and dreams. Lead them, coach them, direct them to where they need to be. For other people who've been told that you speak so well, you need to get into public speaking. And then the coronavirus hits, and now you see that it's very challenging inside this box. Everybody's trying to make money that they can't make at the conventions and the reunions. So, can you still do it? Yes, you can. Would you probably need some additional training? That's on you. But there are some great institutions, 2 year, 4 years, where you can round out a great degree and get into it the way it should be. Or maybe you're one of those seasoned folks and you've been through all of that and you're just trying to find a way to do anything to get an edge to get back on top using this new technology. Or maybe you're that person that just loves to go around, look at some content, listen to some videos, whatever may strike your fancy that you can incorporate into your tactics. And because you have the discipline to practice, rehearse, that's why we do this. So we're just going to continue on from where we started. Presentation is done. Now let's look at near the end of the presentation, where I'm going to gauge some things. Depending on what your subject matter is, your content, what your takeaway pieces are, and how long it's going to be, maybe breaks might be required. When you tell people to take a break, you need to tell them exactly when you plan to start again. 15 minutes is a typical length for a break, so people can check their phones, so people can still take a smoke or just want to relax. The shorter presentations, under an hour, will generally not require a break. But if the presentation edges towards an hour, hour and a half, it may well be that offering a break in the middle can be the wisest thing to do. Here's why. Although people will sit for upwards of 2 hours in a movie theater, there's a clear difference between a movie and listening to someone in front of them doing a presentation. Atmospherically, dramatically, and many other ways, it's easier to sit through a film of a certain length than it is to sit through a presentation. If you do give a break, the audience at the presentation will love it, but it's essential that you specify that you will begin the presentation again at a set time. and impress upon them the importance of them being back at the right time. If you stay out beyond the allotted time for a break, then it simply results in the recommendation of the presentation being delayed and gives a very bad impression. If there are some stragglers who take a little bit more time to arrive back, then it is beneficial to supply some type of short informational conversation so the people can get back up to speed. Now, I'm not talking about the teachers. I'm not talking about the managers and the supervisors. We'll get back to that in a little bit. But by getting them back up to speed, remember, someone paid for you to come talk to this group. This can be a good way for gauging how the presentation is being received and allow you to get an impression of what your audience is like. And then naturally, we need to be wrapping up and winding down. Many times speakers will end a presentation with a question and answer series. If you do this, don't end the presentation with your answers to the last question. It might have little to do with your main point, what you wanted them to take away. Instead, after you've answered the last question, say something like, "That's all we have for time right now." If there's one thing I hope you will remember from this presentation, it is, and now you're drawing them back into the main reason why that person that paid you brought you there. Doing this will end the presentation in a neat way and pull together all the strands of the previous things that you were talking about. It also allows you to reinforce certain key points of your presentation. And as people leave, thank them for attending, say goodbye. Remember, if you do have some takeaway pieces, that's good also. Now, let me get back to the teachers and the managers and supervisors. That's a completely different situation. I, as a teacher, when I did teach, let them know at the beginning there is no breaks. I only have you for so much time. I need you in here unless you have a note from a superior or your parent or guardian that you must leave. Do not let children leave out of the room. They're wasting their future, their time by hanging out in the bathroom or walking the halls doing nothing. Now, that's just me. You do what you want. But if you want to set a tone right at the beginning of the school year, as the teacher that you cannot, I repeat, cannot buffalo, they will not let you leave the room for any crazy little thing. That's where you want to be. And if by any chance your supervisor or an assistant principal or principal comes by your door and say that this student said you would not let them leave, don't get worried. That's a badge of honor because that person was caught out in the school when they needed to be in your room. So stand tall on that. Same thing goes for managers and supervisors. People will want to get out of any meeting. There's that one word called accountability. And in business, just like in life, people don't want to be accountable for things, especially if they want to get paid for something. So when it comes to taking breaks, I would make them very short. I would keep it to a point where I would say, yes, a break is coming up, but let me cover this. Get as much traction as you can and delay pulling that off. Now, once again, that's two different unique situations. If someone is paying you to come in to speak to their team, maybe you spoke in general and now you're coming back for a training session, that's a different story. But if you're there on the taxpayer's dime to teach their babies, let's handle that difference. If you're there as a supervisor or manager, that company saw value in what you can do to lead and coach others. That's a different situation. Once again, Brandon Hardison, president of Champion Strategies, with a little public speaking tips. And as always, going out there and making a champion day. See you on the next.